man with a traveling microphone. We're in Marshall County, almost on the Callaway County line. As a matter of fact, we're located at the home of Eva Darnell Swift, 299. That's the Kirksey Highway and Magnus Road, which is not very far from Oak Grove Cumberland Presbyterian Church. And we're doing our oral history project. And these tapes, of course, are available in Frankfort at the State Archives building or at the Marshall County Library in Benton. It's nice of you to allow me to come and talk to you today, Mrs. Swift. In fact, I believe I live next door, about as close you can get to your brother.
Oh, James?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
In Benton.
In Benton, uh-huh.
And his son, Kerry, was telling me that you would make an interesting interview.
I hope so.
So here we are. Mm-hmm. First off, to get things in perspective, would you mind telling us where you were born?
I was born in Marshall County.
Is that near here?
Yeah, over here. Let's see, my dad was Harv Darnell.
Yes.
And so he lived over here on the highway.
Uh-huh.
Close to, who lives there now?
Well, that's close enough.
Yeah.
And you were, do you mind telling us how old you are?
I'll be 76 in October.
October's bright blue weather. That's a
Yeah.
wonderful month in which to be born or to live.
Yeah.
And you've already told us that you were Harv Darnell's daughter.
Uh-huh.
What about your mother?
She was a Threet, Essie Threet.
Mm-hmm. Quite a number of Threets in this area.
Yeah, they sure are.
I've known several of them. I knew a fellow at Hardin once named Joe Threet.
Yeah, well, they some related, but
Uh-huh.
She had a brother named Rich and Henry and Isom Threet.
What about Barney's dad?
Well, now, Barney is Goebel Threet's daddy.
I see.
They were some related.
Okay. Do you remember any of your grandparents?
Yes, I remember my grandmother, Aunt Victoria Darnell. And, let's see, Victoria, and, I can't think of her husband right off the I had all the record of it. I can't tell.
Well, that's all right. We'll just go on to something else. You may think of it after a while.
They had a son named Wallace Darnell, and Wallace and Uncle Jack Darnell. Did you ever know him?
I don't believe I did.
Jack Darnell.
There's so many Darnells in Marshall County that it's, I guess there are more than there are Smiths.
I think so, and they've got down mighty low now. There's not that many of us now.
Not as many as there once were.
No, Darnells.
I remember my mother saying there was a sheriff named Joe Darnell.
Yeah, and that's right.
County officers of various kinds. I remember Arthur Darnell, who was jailer.
Yeah, he was some related to my dad.
In fact, I went to high school at Hardin with two of his daughters. And so there are just lots and lots of Darnells.
Oh, they sure are.
Well, you went to school where?
I went out here right on the highway at Thurston Darnell Schoolhouse. Let's see.
At Darnell School. You even had a school named after the Darnell family.
Yeah, I went there.
Is that the only place you ever
I believe
went?
that's the only school I ever went to, Darnell School.
You've been pretty close to this area all of your life.
Yeah.
Do you remember any of your teachers?
Oh, let's see. I don't know.
Well, I don't want to put you on the spot.
Well,
I just thought...
I did know one. I know Ada Darnell. Ada Darnell.
Even some of your teachers were named Darnell.
Ada. Well, she married a Darnell, I believe. I don't know who really she was, but Ada. And,
very good.
Charlene Darnell was my cousin. And I was kin to the Coles, too, Lizzie Cole.
Did the teachers have much trouble making you mind? Or?
Not me, I was scared. Now, my brother, he wasn't afraid of nothing. I tell you, I'd get on to him all the time, but that's Thomas Darnell. I guess you know him. Tommy Darnell lives up there on the Benton Road. But he was pretty tough at the time.
You sort of dared them.
Yeah.
Well, the old song said reading, writing, arithmetic taught to the tune of a hickory stick, so maybe he got a little hickory.
He did. But,
my dad used to say to me, he said, now, son, if you don't behave, the teacher's going to use some hickory bark tea on you.
Well, they did, too. I guess they spanked quite a few of them. I never did have much trouble with the teachers. I was a pretty good kid, I guess.
What do you like most about school? Recess?
No, I really like school. I like my arithmetic and English and all that. I like school.
Mm-hmm.
Now, recess was all right turned out for dinner, you know.
What did you play on the school?
Hopscotch.
Yes.
And Ring Around the Roses. And different. Let's see, there's something else we even played, but yeah, it's been that long. I married when I was 16.
16 years old. Well, my mother did too.
Yeah. People married young then, I guess. Yeah.
We kind of grew up as kids together.
Yeah, that's it.
I was born when she was 18, and so, you know, when I was 10, she was still just 28 years old, so.
That made a difference. Okay.
Right now, after you got out of school, by the way, did you lived on a farm, I assume?
Oh, yeah. We raised tobacco.
Did you help it?
I hope, yeah. Sucker that tobacco and pull them old worms.
You didn't like those big old
no,
hornworms?
No, I didn't. I was kind of afraid of them. I'd pull their heads off.
Yeah.
I tell you, we'd go to school, and before we could almost get to the house, you know how you are, you're hungry and want something to eat. Dad said, get off them clothes and get here in the field. And boy, we had to get there, too.
Yeah.
I mean, now we worked. Hoe it. We had to hoe it, scrape it.
There wasn't anything easy about tobacco,
No,
was there?
they sure wasn't. Well, stripping I like that really better than any part about it.
Although
in the barn.
that could be kind of mean on a cold day, and
Well, we didn't get to strip when it's cold. It'd be damp, you know, when you strip most in the barn.
yeah.
I don't know.
Setting was a killer.
Yeah, and we had to set behind. Didn't have these setters then.
No. And your back would die, and you'd blister your palm of your hand where you had the peg.
I think I still got some.
And worming was terrible.
Oh,
Suckering was worse.
it was awful. Man.
Cutting it and handling it.
Well, I didn't ever cut. Dad always had people to help him cut it.
The men would swap work on
yeah,
that.
Dad did do that. But,
That's pretty tough. And then your other work around probably was chopping out corn with a gooseneck hoe.
You have to do that. If you plant it too thick, chop it out.
Scrape the grass.
Yeah.
We didn't have pre-emergence herbicides as they talk about now.
And the mowing, we didn't have these push mowers either, and riding mowers. I guess we just let the grass grow up, but we didn't have them then.
No.
I remember.
No, we didn't. I have a picture that I was looking at the other day of my mother and I sitting in the yard when I was 2 years old at the Jim Will Barnett place over east of Hardin. And the grass was knee-high.
Yeah. I don't know how. I guess they really took they'd have something to cut it up mower, didn't we? They'd have mowers.
Well, you take a field mower every now and then.
Yeah,
And
cut it down.
cut it down about the time it was hay.
Yeah, that's it. And then get out there and rake it up. Oh, me.
Yeah. Well, how did you meet your husband?
Well, really, I guess at church. I went to church. I guess.
Where did you go to church?
New Zion Baptist Church.
New Zion Baptist Church. And he went there too.
Well, no, I don't believe he did. I believe he went to down here at Where does Gentry go to church at? Let's see, they lived here. This is their old home place. And I guess they went to down here. Seemed like we had a church down here close to by now. I know the schoolhouse was down here where the old dumps is at now.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't really know where.
So he was a Marshall County person, too.
Yeah,
then.
oh yeah. He's Marshall County.
Did he have any brothers and sisters?
Oh yeah, he had a boy, a brother Sour Swift. He fell down a side of steps and killed him, and they had him cremated and brought home.
Mm-hmm.
And then he had Cecil. And then Hugh Swift lives right here as his brother.
Mm-hmm.
Hugh and Gentry and Sowers and Cecil. 5, I guess, of them. And I don't think they didn't have no girls. They had all boys.
Did you have any children?
Oh yeah, I had 2. I had Buddy lives right across the road, and Joe, and my daughter lives at Reuben. She married Clifford Underwood.
Mm-hmm.
And,
So they're both close enough that you can visit.
My daughter comes once a week anyway. She's really good.
Do you have any grandchildren?
Oh, I have 12 children. 12 children and 13 great-grandchildren, and 1 dead.
Mm-hmm.
One got killed in a car wreck.
So you had 2 children, 13 grandchildren, and 12 great-grandchildren.
Or maybe it's 12 great-grandchildren and 13, I guess it was.
Well, whichever, we won't worry about that part.
But, I mean, I've got them all over the wall. You can see them.
See, you've got
That's my son.
photographs
And that's when we
up
had our
there.
50th anniversary. And this is my daughter.
Uh-huh.
And so we just got them everywhere. And, did you ever know Jimmy Fulton? You never did know him?
Don't think so.
Well, he's a Presbyterian preacher, and he's off preaching, and they're supposed to come home. And right here.
All right, she's getting a photograph off the wall on the other side of the room and bringing it over now.
There's my 12 grandchildren.
Oh, aren't they lovely?
And,
Everyone just beaming with a big smile.
Yeah.
And they all look fresh, scrubbed, and
They kept them clean.
they're precious, aren't
They
they?
sure are. And I think so much of them all. And that was when my husband and me first married.
Yeah, and she's pointing out, were you wearing a fox fur?
Yeah, that's a fur on my coat. It was stylish then.
Mm-hmm.
And,
And he's wearing a cap.
yeah, a cap and a big cigar. And, scarves around his neck.
Oh, yeah. Very latest style.
Yeah. Now then, they really got him.
That was probably in the 20s.
Yeah, I guess it was. And see, that was just after we married. See, I've got my Bible here where I can tell them all. We married there.
All right, we'll just take a look at that.
Mm-hmm. Now there's Joyce Swift. She married Underwood, and Cecil married Betty, and James, and Sheila, and Gary, and Connie, and Danny Ray, and Patricia, and Beverly, and Roy, and Ricky. That's all my grandchildren.
There's all of them. And that picture we're talking about probably goes back to about
1976. Let's see, married. Let's see. Let me see.
Well,
I had them when we married.
Here we go, 1920.
My grandfather was named John Threet, and my mother was Esty Threet, married to Darnell.
Uh-huh.
And then there's all my brothers and sisters right in there. Opal and Lear and Thomas and James. And then I had, and she was my grandmother was a Susan Boland.
Uh-huh.
And Uncle Henry and Uncle Rich and Uncle Ison was my uncles. And Aunt Sarah and Aunt Victoria and Aunt Kate and Aunt Joe's and Aunt Monk Rose. Was all my aunts and uncles.
Uh-huh. Well, that's just fine. We got all those records straightened up there now.
1908 and Gentry.
Did you always live here, or did you make a trip to Detroit
we
or
live
somewhere?
we live in Cleveland, Detroit too. before we come here and bought this place.
What'd your husband do? And did he go to Cleveland before he did Detroit?
Yeah, he worked in a factory up there doing something. I forget just what it was. In Cleveland, he worked there a long time. And then we went to Detroit. But I forgot what he done. Mail hall. Mail hall, they call it. And that's where he worked, at the mail hall. And then he went to Detroit, and I don't know what work he worked there, doing something in Detroit.
Do you remember anything about brewers when you were growing up? Was it any different then?
Oh, it wasn't as big as it is now. Yeah, my husband goes down there quite a bit now. We used to have a grocery store down there, too. But, well, they still got a little grocery store.
Yes.
And he goes there and gets his gas and stuff.
You remember Dr. Bean?
Oh, yeah. Dr. Bean.
So they had a physician there. And they had a grade school and a high school.
Yeah, they sure did. Yeah. And seemed like after they tore this one down, seemed like I went to brewer school. Okay. I tell you,
Did you ever ride in an airplane?
No. No, I never did. My great-grandmother Darnell did.
Now, you'd let her do something.
Well, I guess that's for my time. But I heard them speak about her going up in an airplane. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
That's Gentry's, my husband's father, before he died. He was a good old man.
And he's got a couple of children on his knee
Yeah, I see
there.
grandchildren. And I tell you.
Did you ever get on a train out of Hardin and go anywhere?
I went to Cleveland on a train one time. Yep. Yeah, we'd get on the train and go. Well, that's the only way, I guess, then we had to go.
Well, just about. I guess you could have...
Drove through. It was quite a way. But now, my great-grandma Donald's the one that rode the airplane, and we rode on the train. I remember going to Hardin, getting it on the Hardin train and going to Troy. When I done that.
Did you ever help kill hogs?
Did I? I reckon grind them old sausage and sack them.
Yeah.
Yes, we had the hog killing. The whole neighborhood, they'd have a hog killing, you know, and they'd make fire and wash and cook and heat the water in a wash kettle. Yeah, I remember that.
You had to boil.
Cook out the lard, they call it.
Cook out the lard.
Yeah.
But you got some cracklings out
Oh,
there.
yeah, and I made good cornbread, too.
You like crackling bread?
I used to, but I can't years since I've had my teeth all up and took out, and I'm fixing to have these. Get me a set. Yeah.
But that is rather good eating, shortening
it sure
bread.
Was. Yeah, we'd get out there, you know, and get us some cracklings and maybe a piece of cornbread and eat that while they's cooking them out.
Did you ever milk a cow?
Oh, yeah. We sold milk. Well, the fact of it is we had cows and sold milk here. After we married and lived here, Guy'd come by and we'd have a milk can set in a tub of cool water and cool it, and they'd come by and pick it up. Sold milk.
And that brought in a few
Extra dollars.
dollars.
Yes, it did. Well, we didn't go to grocery and buy then. You had your stuff, you know, out of the garden and everything. I never thought about going buying canned goods and stuff like we do now.
You took corn to the mill
Yeah,
and had meal made.
Did.
Sometimes you take wheat.
Yeah, have a flour. And I tell you, I said we'd always put up enough meat, salt it down, and hang it up and smoke it to do us.
Did you do much canning?
Oh, not that much. Well, we canned tomatoes and pickles and stuff like that, but not like you do now. People, well, I mean, like some people did now. Let's see, I guess I did. I canned pickles and green beans and beets. Yeah, we can. But I've got a lot of fruit jars yet left over. I don't now, but I used to.
Snap any Kentucky Wonders?
Yeah, we cook them and can them.
Can any corn?